taking a moment to check in with yourself and just notice your internal landscape, where the energy's moving, where it's not moving. Not trying to change anything, just being aware of your state at this time. And as I continue to speak, again, you self-regulate with your eyes. You'd like to open your eyes, close them, or soft eyes, whatever feels good to you. And so we're talking about 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And another term for this is absolute reality and relative. So, relative reality is the movie that we live in, the roles we play, the world stage, and all that happens. In Hinduism, it's called Leela, the play of the mind, which is the playful relation between the absolute and the relative world. The word Leela itself comes from the Sanskrit word Leela, which means sport or drama. I love this word. I always have. There's such a delight in our humanness in it. And sometimes it's a play that's quite difficult, quite dense, even violent. And so it's more important than ever that we be able to ground in the absolute. So the absolute is the oneness, our beingness, the essence of our being, which is unconditioned love. There's no judgment. There's no time. There's no you and I. There's only this oneness, this now. And when we can be in big mind, which I like to call it, we're able to maintain that center. Well, that sounds easy when you're meditating, but the key is, how do we do that in our regular life when our body is conditioned and for survival? So the neuroscientist Rick Hansen said, we didn't evolve to be happy. We evolved to survive. So we're constantly regulating our nervous systems in all this. And that's why the breath is so important. When we can breathe from our belly and we can slow down the exhale like we did in the 4-7-8, it calms the nervous system. And the nervous system can act pretty independently. We might not even know we're triggered, and yet we can be. And so having this ongoing breathing practice is something that we can do to regulate the nervous system and to consciously keep ourselves pulling back into that big mind. I think of big mind as this gracious host that hosts every thought, feeling, person, no matter how wonderful or deranged, without any judgment, because it doesn't hold on to anything. Everything just moves right through it. Big mind is completely transparent, like the blue sky. A thought, a feeling is like a cloud that moves right through. And so the question is, how? How do we do that? So one of the things I'd like to do today is talk about working with the layers of our psyche through the felt sense. So I'm going to give you an example of what I struggled with this week. Besides the state of the world, what I dealt with by just meditating more and being in nature. I mean, it's just too much, right? And therefore, it's so important for each of us to reach out to one another and to rest in big mind as much as we can. And for me, when I can go out in nature, it's so much easier to go there. So, but on a micro scale, one of my biggest triggers is technology, as my husband will attest. It isn't relationships that gets me upset. It isn't, my family. It's freaking technology. So I have this little recording studio, and I had to get a new, it's called an interface, because my old one was making a buzzing sound. So I get it, and it looks pretty simple, right? So I think, plug it in here, plug it in there. The last one was pretty easy. No way, it wouldn't work. So I got on the internet, I got on at least 3 different YouTubes, I read the manual. This is not easy for me. I am so not left-brained. So I am like getting more and more frustrated. I can feel my jaw get tense. I can feel the heat in my body. I'm swearing. And I don't know if you heard me, David, but that's kind of what happens with me when I get triggered. And so at some point I go, Jane, what are you doing? Press the pause button and see what is going on with you. So I press the pause button and I go inside and I take a couple breaths. And first, of course, I realize I'm frustrated. So that's the emotion of anger, frustration, and I need to discharge it. So I let myself have a few exhales. I inhale, I get a little softer with it, and that helps. But then it's like, okay, there's more going on here than just frustration. What's underneath that? So I go a layer deeper and I feel a certain helplessness. This is just beyond my capacity, this technology that I'm working on. And there's nobody around. What can I do? And so I kind of recognize that helplessness. And then I say to myself, after I feel into it, I don't go to my mind yet. I just stay with the feeling. And then I reflect, am I helpless? No. I have my husband. I have my tech person. I can call the company. So I see through that and it's like, okay. I go through that. And then I go another layer and I feel this kind of like vague, it's just uncomfortable and just feels like a little bit of panic. And so I sent into that and I realized, oh, that's that old abandonment. Abandonment. So I recognize, do I have abandonment wound from my family, from my past? Yes, I do. My mom, in all her perfect motherness, decided to leave me in the hospital after I was born so that she could go home and clean the house and take care of the other kids. And I never knew this, but I always knew I had this abandonment issue that would come out with the poor men I was dating. And so I finally I asked her what happened. And she said, well, it was only $5 a day and I could leave you in the hospital. So I was like, oh, so it's cellular in me. Now, generally, I don't have a lot of that come up now, but I have had this cellular abandonment that not until my 30s did I have a clue where it came from. Not a clue. So I felt that. And it was like, okay, I'm not abandoned here, so I can kind of, tend to my inner child who goes to that abandonment place. Then I go, okay, let's go another layer deeper. So I go a layer deeper and I feel this very vague, again, felt sense is not clear. It's kind of vague. It's not like an emotion. It's just kind of a psychic rumbling that's going on. So I sense into that and I feel, oh, I feel separate. This is the wound of separation. Instead of this oneness that big mind is, that this knowledge that we are one, that my consciousness is your consciousness, is the tree's consciousness, is the rocks. And so when I go into that separation, there is a little panic going on inside me. And another reason why this big mind is so important to drop into, to come back to maintain as much as we can. I say to my clients a lot of times, we're all just like little kids. We never really grow up. There's this tender heart inside us and this self-care and playing to ourselves with tenderness and letting go of any judgment, any judgment. I mean, why did we come into the world as we did with the conditions that we did? Who knows? And so we judge ourselves based on our personality, which is based on the conditions and causes that we were born into. And that's not who we are. That's like our persona, the hat that we wear, the role that we play. And this essence of being is pure love. And when we can see that in other people, when we can tend to our scared child, from that, everything calms down. And it takes time, and it requires one to go inward. And we're a very extroverted society, very extroverted. And so learning how to maintain that inner awareness as you go through life is such a gift. I swear it took me forever to get that. I would just pop out no matter who I was with, and I would feel their emotions and I would get kind of caught up in their swirl. And then I realized, whoa, I'm not going to last being a therapist if I do this, that's for sure. Plus, I felt like crap. I would absorb people's stuff and my own panic. So, anyway, the felt sense is key for getting to those deeper layers. And the tendency is to feel something, pop in the head and analyze it. And what I'm going to ask you to do today in our exercise is not to pop into your head, but to stay with that vagueness, stay with that felt sense until it starts to reveal itself. It might be an image, it might be a feeling, it might be a memory, it might just be a knowing. I remember I had a therapist once, and she was this wise woman. I think she was in her 80s when I met her. And she said, you know, as therapists, we mostly just kind of poke around in the dark. And I so appreciated her saying that so much of what we're trying to do in healing is to bring the unconscious to consciousness so that we can work with it. So it's not operating independently and hijacking, what our true intentions are, what our true nature is. So we're going to start by doing a meditation with my little acronym, which is called GPA. So it's not your college grades, it's grounding, presence, and awareness. So I want you one more time to get comfortable and where your back is supported. And bring your eyes to whatever level feels good. And to bring your awareness, starting to feel your feet kind of plug into the ground. And if you're sitting cross-legged, feel your pelvic floor extend down as if you had roots. And in fact, feel both your pelvic floor and your feet sprout roots that extend down into the ground. And feel those roots break through the crust of the earth and down into the soil. Feeling the moistness of the soil, its granules, and going down deeper as you breathe through your belly, with each exhale extending those roots a little deeper, and down into the rock. And feel the solidity of that rock. Feel its solid support, day after day, always here supporting you. Feeling that same rock-like matter in your own body, in your bones. Feel the weight of your pelvic bones. Feel the force of gravity holding you. Feel this vehicle, this beautiful body that's your vehicle on this planet as an extension of the earth, the same elements, the air of your breath, the water of your blood and lymph. Feel that oneness with the earth and the expanse of your own body, its strength, its tenderness. And take a moment just to appreciate it. And drawing that earth energy up through your roots, through your pelvic floor, through your belly, up to your torso. And feeling your torso. This is where everything happens. Your gut, your second brain, your heart, your back body. You feel yourself just travel around in your torso a little bit, knowing and noticing where the energy's moving, where it might be a little stagnant, giving it your breath and your kindness. And invite your senses to wake up. Feel the air on your body. Feel your skin, your torso. And imagine that you could bring your mind into each cell, lighting it up, the light of awareness, waking up those cells. So all your senses are turned on. You can feel that kinesthetic sense of touch. See if you can feel your heartbeat. Feel your back body puff out on the inhale. Feel your cells like little champagne bubbles, awake and alive, that sense of aliveness. Your breath permeating every cell of your being. And when we focus on our torso, when we meditate, we make sure that we don't bypass our emotions, which can be pesky at times. So grounding in the torso is so important. Feeling the back body, which we often ignore. Allowing the breath to awaken the cells, to nourish each cell of our being. Inviting all the organs to let go. Breathing right through them as if they were clouds. All the muscles let go. And bringing your awareness gradually up your neck into your head. And feel your brain shift to the back of the head. Feel its weight in the back of your head as if you could just unplug it. And breathing empty, open space into your brain. Cells of open space, like you could fill up your head with the sky. Feel the muscles and nerves behind your eyes let go. Your jaw release so that your molars don't touch. Feel your scalp just hang on your skull. And feel how your skull expands and contracts like plates of the earth. It's not solid. It expands and contracts like every other part of your body. Feeling all the muscles, the tendons, everything let go. As you breathe in more and more empty, open space. And this space isn't empty as in void. This space is your pure cognizant awareness. It's pure love. It's your essence of being. It's limitless and it's completely open. Feel that space fill in your entire body. Every cell vibrating, expanding with empty, open space. It's wise, compassionate, and clear. And feeling your whole body here breathing, full of spacious awareness. And keeping that in the background, like the background of a painting. And then I want you, if you would, to bring into the foreground some sort of reaction, trigger, or issue that you've experienced recently, as if you could put it on the movie screen. And you're both in the movie, feeling it, but you're also in big mind, observing it. And so I want you to bring up whatever issue, reaction, so that you feel it in your body. And bring your awareness to wherever you feel it in your body. And don't worry if it's clear or vague. Just contact that energy. And go to the edge of that energy, not into the middle of it, just to the edge. And from that edge, I want you to breathe a molecule of empty open space into that reaction. And then another. And tend to it with compassionate curiosity, inviting it to reveal itself through this felt sense, or maybe it's an image, but you're going to sense into it as you give it another molecule of space and another. And just keep them coming at your own space, at your own timing. Molecule after molecule, using your breath to soften and open. And then feel free, when you're ready, take your time, your own time, to go down a layer underneath that. And sense into that. Breathing molecules of empty open space into it. You'll notice its constitution is changing. There's more and more space, more and more awareness. And by giving it space, you allow that energy someplace to move to. You're infusing it with space. You're unfolding it with space. You're loving it, holding it, and allowing it to move. Energy needs to move. Your breath gives it that movement. Breathing empty, open space. And then down into another layer. Another layer. And feeling that, sensing into it, feeling that felt sense. We call this the feeling below the feeling, below the feeling. And being patient. Allowing whatever this is, time to reveal itself. Breathing kindness into it. And then taking a moment to gradually bring this part to a close in your own time, in your own way. And you may need to let this part know, hey, I'll revisit you later. Our communication is open. I'm listening. I'm right here. There's no judgment, just unconditional love. And then bringing your awareness into your heart. And imagine that you could literally breathe through your heart, as if it has a nose and a mouth on it. And you're feeling your heart, center of the upper chakras and the lower chakras. the earthly and the divine. And as you breathe, feel your body awakening even more. And imagine a tube running down the center of your body, like a tree has sap that runs up and down the middle. Imagine your body has this from the pelvic floor all the way up to the crown of your head. And imagine this tube is clear, like clear glass, and you can see into it. And you're going to bring that spacious awareness in the form of light, pure white light that you can see, that you can feel. And you're going to bring it into this tube, starting at the base, your pelvic floor, and you're going to breathe it up the tube all the way up through your belly, through your solar plexus, through your chest, all the way up through your head to the crown. And then you're going to breathe it down, all the way down your tube in your own pacing. And feel how this light heats up that inner core, that essence of being. And this light is the manifestation of pure awareness of space, bringing something into the light of awareness. So it's really space and light and energy. And just feel it moving up and down, lighting you up, allowing you to express being the light body that you are. And if you like, you can get a little fancy and you can breathe up the back of the tube and then down the front of the tube. So it's a loop. So you're breathing up the back of the tube and breathing down that light like a shower of light down the front. Nice long breaths, filling up your whole body with breath. Feeling the heat. And now as you exhale, feel that light and space expand beyond the tube, into your body, into every cell of your body. And then expanding beyond your body, maybe a couple feet. And then expanding even more. Feel yourself expanding into that pure beingness, limitless space, limitless, unconditioned consciousness. Feel that connection with all life. Light and space. And when this is active, most of the time you don't need to use your brain. This cognizance, this brilliance knows what to do when. When you need to put your thinking cap on, you can. But allowing this life force energy to be the intelligence within you, not your thinking brain, but this brilliant cognizant awareness. And how far can you expand? Notice how that feels to expand more and more. Your body is an ocean, rich with hidden treasures. Open its innermost chambers and light its lamp. Mirabai. So very gradually, in your own time, you can begin to bring yourself back, but maintaining this 1 foot in. Operating from your essence, your beingness. And when you're ready, you're going to gradually begin to open your eyes. Come into your 1 foot out. Feel that spiritual hokey pokey going on. 1 foot in, you got your 1 foot out.